We continue our discussion of Halloween Horror Nights with the last 5 houses and give our hype list on episode 368 of the Unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. Welcome back, everyone. You have found us in the middle of Halloween Horror Nights hype. When this episode comes out, Halloween Horror Nights has begun. Darren has been.
Whoa.
But we recorded this last week, so he hasn't been yet.
How was it, Darren?
Oh, man, it was so cool. I ate all that food. It was crazy. The houses were pretty cool, too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you've already heard 3 voices there and kind of one of them, so I'll introduce everyone. Chris.
Hey.
And Tracy.
Hello.
And Darren.
What's up, Crypt?
And of course, the wonderful Julie Zimmerman, the mother of Halloween Horror Nights, is back with us.
Yes, I'm here. Thank you, darling.
So, on the last show, as I said, we didn't discover because we already knew about them. We covered Stranger Things, Nightingale's Blood Pit, the Universal Monsters, Depths of Fear, and Yeti Terror of the Yukon. And we will continue this episode by looking at the 6th house that was announced, and that was the behemoth that was Ghostbusters.
Celebrating its 35th anniversary, you'll jump through the movie screen of the original 1984 film and walk through some of your favorite scenes like the New York Public Library, the Temple of Gozer, and more. In this haunted house, you'll be transported to the streets of New York as the rift between worlds opens, releasing ghoulish spirits, hideous specters, and ectoplasm-dripping phantasms in every shape and size. Come face to face with the, I can't say it, voracious Slimer, all-power Gozer the Gozerian, Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and more. Peter, Regan, and Winston will have to save the day as these paranormal creatures materialize in unexpected places. But will their proton packs be enough? Discuss.
Oh,
We're going to go to, because I feel everyone could probably talk a lot about this. Chris has been quiet. Chris was quiet a little bit on the last one. Chris.
There is no Chris. There is only Zool.
Oh my God, help us.
nice.
Bring on the Ghostbusters. I think everybody has this up on their list, probably.
Yeah,
It's
higher up.
I'm not going to give it. I'm not going to give it away, but yeah, it's up
We're
there.
not saying yet.
Please, number 1.
I'm not saying.
Protector of the list.
We talked about this before. I mean, the things that they can do, if they do some special effects in there, and I'm just dying to see what and how they do this. I mean, aside from the nostalgic, just Ghostbusters and being an amazing movie. I don't think the house will be, quote unquote, on the scarier side.
No.
And I don't think it's supposed to be. Because the movie itself was more of a comedy than anything else. So I think it's just going to be, this one's going to be to play on the nostalgic, essence of Ghostbusters. One piece of me also says that like they do this to kind of reintroduce or familiarize people with the original Ghostbusters, since they have another one coming out that goes straight back to these original ones. Exactly. That's just throwing that out there, but this house is going to be awesome.
Oh, yes.
I asked myself, this is only crazy, did they keep any of the original stuff from when the attraction was there?
That's what I was thinking about.
And I was thinking of the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, where did you put that dude? I mean, it's so many years ago since they did it, but a lot of Pepper's Ghost. And, that attraction, which most folks never saw, but it, Gozer was just amazing. And the boys, they have guys that look like the Ghostbusters. They always have it. They have Ecto-1 there. So at least the whole thought of that is cool. But I keep wondering, are they going to start with us walking into how is it going to be? Are we going to walk into the firehouse? And I just want to know. I'm excited. I want to know how are you going to open this?
Yeah, only Brady back as the Ghostbusters.
If we don't see Mike Aiello reprise his role as a Ghostbuster, I'm going to be disappointed.
See, for me, they could do like when the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man explodes. They could do that with like bursts of foam.
That would be so cool. Out. I hope so.
And obviously the smell of marshmallow, toasted marshmallow.
Oh, sure they will. They'll have it all in there.
This has the potential to be the only Halloween Horror Nights I've ever been through where I come out crying with joy.
That would be great.
Because I love Ghostbusters so much, and I think putting it front, like everyone's listening on, like looking at Twitter and Facebook and all the conversations and the other podcasts that are talking about it, I think everyone's concerned that it's not going to be a scary house, and I don't think it will be. I think,
why would it be?
I think there's
it doesn't need to be.
but there's potential elements that could be. I think Darren said it before. That opening scene in the library, is
great,
incredibly
terrified
scary.
me as a kid.
Yes.
We've already seen an effect that's going to be in that house. We're not allowed to talk about it.
Yep. Nope.
No.
But I just think putting it front and center of that first house, that's them saying this is our house that we think is going to be our best house this year, and it has to live up to that.
That was saying we got one.
Yeah.
Haha. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's loved by, I mean, Ghostbusters everybody's seen in their lifetime,
Absolutely.
I think. And the original one, I mean, you look at the brilliance of the Bill Murray in that movie, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
and his relationship with Danny Aykroyd and, all that stuff. Those guys were so into it. So everybody knows Ghostbusters and has seen that movie about 9 million times. But, you're right. There's various scenes in there that were scary.
Yeah.
But some hysterical that Bill Murray went through. It's his dialogue. It was the way he delivered his lines, I think I hope it's more fun than we can imagine. I really do.
To add to that, I mean, you have, I think Universal saw what they did last year with Stranger Things. I don't think Stranger Things was a scary house. I think they saw how much traffic they got in from this franchise that people just love to see. And they go, you know what? We can put a Horror Nights house, quote unquote. Doesn't have to be some horrific, scary thing. It's going to drive people to come in here and see and walk through the movie sets and the prop pieces they watched on screen, and they're living the movie again, basically. Yeah. And I think that's what they're going to try to do with this Ghostbusters. On top of the fact that this is one of their original IPs in the park. Right. It's perfect house for Horror Nights.
Yeah, and they're going to miss a trick because there's the perfect transition to get to the Temple of Goza. And you should have to walk through an open refrigerator.
Oh, that would be cool. That would actually be really cool.
You should,
They might not miss that trick. We'll see.
Think how much they have to go off of. I mean, it's so what's great about it,
Yeah.
You've got all this great stuff and everything about it. This movie was it's a classic, and everybody, and I think there's a lot of anticipation for the new one. So I have to trust in God. They spent a bundle of money on this because they absolutely could not make this be lame.
No.
They can't.
No.
So that's my thought, that they, especially on this side of the theme park where it is too. I mean, they've got to put some dough into this one. They've got a great space for it. So I'm hoping that, we're blown away and that we see iconic things that we make us go, I've always wanted to walk in here type of feel.
Yeah.
That's what I want to feel. I really do.
We watched the other week the Void, the Ghostbusters VR thing, and that looks amazing. I'd love to see Horror Nights do something like that. But that was just like a VR experience, which looked stunning. Yeah. What Horror Nights could do with this, I mean, they know that putting that house at the front, it's going to have crazy long waits, and it's got to be worth that wait. Otherwise, the feedback they're going to get from people will be horrendous.
I have no doubt this is going to deliver and more.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, they have to. I mean, they know that. They have to think about what they did before, and now they have to think about what this is, this highly anticipated movie, this classic that everybody loved.
It's precious to everybody, really.
Yeah.
Spend some money on this house.
Yes.
There'd be no other way to do it because you'd have to, and get every special effect known to Jesus in there, and, then you can do it. So I look forward to seeing a Stay Puft Dude again, because that was my favorite part of the other one, in the original one, when the dude would come up, and everybody screams because, some good old marshmallow smells. I wish we could have little bits of marshmallow.
We'll have to take goodie bags of marshmallows in.
Yes. I love it. They could have s'mores right outside in the queue line. We could eat on those before we go. Ooh, I love it.
Yeah.
It's the weekend of goodie bag.
Yeah. I mean, Darren, like getting into it a little bit, we've sort of talked about before. You've sort of said that you feel Horror Nights is going a little soft. And I think it comes out of the fact that I'm not trying to cause an argument or anything, Darren. I'm just to make a point that it's like, I think the fight.
I finally get a chance here to get a word in edgewise about Ghostbusters. And
Sorry, go on, Darren. Sorry, go on.
No, this is how you bring me in.
Sorry, go on.
No. Yes, no, it is. It is going a little softer. It is. People feel comfortable bringing kids there now, and that was not a thing back in the day. I'm
I got
sorry.
the dig.
No, it was not.
No, so it's weird. So, but anyways, that does offer different things to happen. Different opportunities for things like this, and
Yes.
and this is awesome. This is something from my childhood. I've got when I look back at like my childhood toys, I think back to them. I think 90% of them were Ghostbusters, and the other 10% were Ninja Turtles. So,
If you are a brother from another mother, man.
So this is it's going to be an incredible thing to walk through these scenes, and from what I've heard, I saw Patrick Braillard posting about the casting for this and how painstaking the casting was for it to make sure that they had the right guys for it, because when you're walking through this house, you've got to be able to recognize them on site,
Right.
Yes.
quickly. And they're going to have the same kind of feeling that the guy that played Ash in the Evil Dead house
Yeah.
did last.
Mhm.
And that is everybody that walks through is like smiling ear to ear, giving them the thumbs up, like, yeah, do it. So excited. And I think that's going to actually offer them the ability to do a lot of jump scares in this house that you're
Right.
not expecting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I also expect a lot of special effects that are completely like computer controlled special effects
Oh, yeah.
that you've
I know.
never seen in houses before. I'm really anticipating that kind of thing. What I'm really hoping for, and a really big scene that they could do, is when the containment unit breaks and all the souls are coming
yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Yes, all
I would
over.
love to see like a
Okay.
projection kind of effect where that happens.
That would be
gosh.
Oh yeah.
Okay, they could use
That'd be
Pepper's ghost
cool.
for that as well.
Yeah.
No,
But
that's
yeah,
awesome.
Yeah.
just the well, like everybody else said, the nostalgia of this, the grandiose sets that they can put together, and the stuff that they should still have in storage somewhere, because I know they don't get rid of anything. Unless someone's walked away with it.
Yeah.
I don't
Did
know.
anybody see this tape of Marshmallow Man in the prop shop recently, or no?
No.
That stuff, I don't know where they kept. We had warehouses with stuff. I mean, their whole world has changed so dramatically. That's the
True.
third. I mean, the Ghostbusters, then it was Twister, and now it's Jimmy Fallon over there.
Mhm.
So God only knows, but at least, and Landmark Entertainment's still around. We know that Adam Bezark's still around. All those people that put that thing together. So they better have it. What's interesting, and here's because I'm old, but the guys that were some of the original Ghostbusters and the careers they've had, Wayne Brady was a Ghostbuster.
Yeah.
And so was Brett Rice, another character actor. A lot of those guys ended up, that was a great job for them, but they've ended up having real careers. So God bless America and all she stands for.
Yeah.
But
I think
who can be Bill Murray?
if we don't see the American Werewolf puppets come back for Stranger Things, we've
They've
got
gotta
to
be in
see
here.
them in here.
They have to be. If
For
they,
the Terror Dogs.
Yeah, baby.
I need to see them regardless.
This thing's terrified me as a kid.
Yep.
We better have a Lewis Tully
I was
character
going to say, and
somewhere
if Lewis
in there
Tully
as
is
well.
not running
Yeah.
around, I'm
We
leaving.
have to.
They're going to hit on all points here. I'm
they
pretty
are.
confident to say.
Oh my God.
And Janine, let's not forget Janine in the front.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Annie Potts,
Oh,
I love Ghostbusters. I mean, I loved her.
Yeah.
Who
Of
did?
course, Lewis Tully was the dude they built the second one around, that
Yeah.
character, and people love him. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's a nostalgia house that everybody's
Yes.
looking forward to. I really do.
Oh, definitely.
But what I was going to say earlier, Darren, about it going soft, I think it comes from a point of view where we've talked about on the show before, the pot of horror films that Universal are being able to pick from now is getting smaller and smaller
Absolutely.
every year. And I think that's why you're seeing stuff like Stranger Things and Ghostbusters come in.
No.
Because
No.
they're going away, they're taking the full title of the event now of what they're putting in, because it's Halloween Horror Nights. So by sort of focusing a little more on the Halloween rather than the horror, it's allowing them to go out of the box a little bit, and that's why you're seeing things like this come in, because 10, 15 years ago, you would never have seen Ghostbusters at Halloween Horror Nights, even if they were doing
No.
IPs.
No, they would not.
Yeah,
No, it's a different world.
Next year will be the Secret Life of Pets horror.
They're all wearing spooky costumes.
All the dogs have rabies.
You joke, but I'm honestly.
I'm laughing out loud.
You joke, but I'm honestly expecting a Scooby-Doo one.
Oh, see, that would be cool, though.
I've said for years
I'm
why I
okay
haven't
with
done
it.
that.
I'm totally okay for it. Yeah. You know,
Scooby Doo and the Witch's Ghost.
Yes. Oh, that was so good.
Scooby-Doo and the Curse of La Llorona.
Oh, it's happening.
Oh God,
Right.
help us, Jesus.
Oh,
help
no,
us.
it really is a ghost.
And there was Scooby-Doo and the Abominable Snowman.
Oh, there's a crossover.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right.
oh God, that's funny.
Let's move on. So next up,
Very happy for it, despite what Lee said.
we saw another Scare Zone return as a house this year, as we saw the announcement of Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Chris.
Yeah, so this one's a big shocker for all of us, seeing Killer Clowns come back as a house this year. Insert sarcasm right there. So go beyond the mayhem and madness of last year's wildly popular Scare Zone and step right up for an entire haunted house experience based on the cult classic film, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. This new experience will feature a gaggle of new characters, including the Baby Clowns, Boko, and Clownzilla, as well as new scenery like the Clown's Circus Tent spaceship and the Cotton Candy Cocoon storage room where they keep their victims. Throughout the house, your sense of fear will be triggered by your sense of smell as you encounter strong whiffs of familiar fairground fare like sweet cotton candy, stale buttery popcorn, and ice cream. Don't be fooled, though. These otherwise pleasant aromas are a sign of the murderous gang of clowns that awaits you as you move from scene to scene. Try to evade them, or you'll likely end up captured in one of their cotton candy cocoons and doomed to a terrible fate. There will be no escaping the big teeth of Big Top.
Go on then, Tracy.
Not bothered about this one. I'm so freaking excited for this one. It's untrue. It's not very high on my list, though.
You guys got lucky because you missed the Scare Zone last year, but now you have a house.
Well, that's not lucky. I could have had both.
I know, but you could have had neither.
Well, that's true. I'm just so excited. There's just so much potential here. It's just, again, it's yeah.
I'm with you
Can't
on this,
speak.
Tracy. I feel like that too, and I know that's hard to believe coming from me, but I'm looking forward to it. It's in an interesting location too, so I'm like, okay, what are they going to do? But
Yeah, it's
I'm
in the
looking
Shrek
forward to
Theatre,
it.
isn't it?
Yeah. Partially because I want to smell the cotton candy.
An easy place for them to do that because they can quickly fill that area up because it's pretty small. So
Yeah.
Yep, very, very, very small.
they do a really good job, and they're getting even better at it of using that space and using it wisely. I feel like when they first started the houses there with Asylum in Wonderland 3D, that was like that. You know, they kind of made like the pathways really open, and it was kind of a quick walkthrough house.
Love that house.
But you know, all the way up to last year when they had the Halloween 4 house in there, you couldn't even tell. You'd have no idea that was the Shrek house. So they did a really, really good job of like tightening the sets up and the walkways and using that space better. So I'm imagining this year they'll do an even better job with that. This place also lends itself well to using black lights.
Definitely.
Smaller area, so you're going to have that psychedelic look. You're going to be able to, really see the clowns, shine.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'm hoping.
Yeah. Now, I'm a fan of 3D houses because I really enjoyed Asylum in Wonderland 3D at 25, but I'm glad they didn't go down that route with this.
Me too.
Because they could have done quite easily.
It would have been too much.
I agree.
Yeah, it would have been too much.
They do go cheap on the sets when they do 3D a little bit, because you can just use a plywood set that's painted, with a couple of different colors and use the chroma depth on there and really get a good effect out of it. But that you're looking at it through these really blurry lenses, and you don't get that crispness that I think you need for Killer Clowns. You need to see that the molding and the artwork on the clowns.
I was going to say one of the things that a little bummed about that they could have used an opportunity to use was putting it in an actual pop-up tent.
Yes.
That would have played perfectly. A little overlay on that just to theme the outside as well would have been kind of cool.
Yeah.
I'll forgive them, but for next time.
See, are we going to have a pharmacy storefront with the robotic moving? What was it? Where
It
one of
was
the
a
clowns-
monkey. It was the gorilla
monkey,
on one side,
yeah,
wasn't
and
it?
The gorilla, yeah. And then,
Yeah.
I want to see that. And I want a police chief
Oh God, yes.
taking it
And a
very
feisty.
seriously, but knowing it's not.
Oh, why, you little fart.
Yes, I want to be called that.
Yes. Every person in line, they should just have a guy going down the line. You little fart, you're a little fart, you're a little fart.
And everybody's like, woo, woo.
Yeah. and-
woo.
Also, correct me if I'm wrong. I think we have in recording the Kyoto brothers did say they'd walk through when they had a house next.
They did. They promised to take me.
They did, but apparently they've been invited for opening night, so the chances of them being there when we are isn't looking very good.
We just talked to somebody at Universal to get this done.
Yeah.
I do not think this is going to be a scary house in the slightest, but I couldn't care less.
Depends on whether you're scared of
No.
clowns or not.
Well, that's true.
For some people,
That is
it'll
very
be
true.
terrifying.
They're scared of funny clowns that have nothing to do with anything scary. They're just terrified.
This was what gave me my clown phobia. This is also what cured my clown phobia when I watched it as an adult and just started to laugh.
Do we feel the reason that they're bringing in the baby clowns and these other
They
different
are
little
creepy
characters
little.
because it's in a smaller area and they can't put in the clowns that were necessarily in the scare zone last year because they were big costumes?
Oh, they'll still have them.
They've mentioned Clownzilla. You can't get any bigger than
Well,
that.
that's very true.
They'll
Awesome
still
to see.
be there. And they'll still have a big Clownzilla. They have a lot more space than we're giving it credit for. And they had, even in Alice in Wonderland 3D, if you remember, they had some giant clowns in there.
Mhm.
In one room in particular, where they had them like in the center, and you walked all the way around them. So yeah, they have plenty of space. I think.
I think they're fine.
I think this will be
Baby
the house
clown.
with the guest activated trigger in this year.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if they think when they're walking along, when the I can't think what they're called now, the two ice cream brothers, they walk through. And It's
Yeah.
like a big red button, isn't it? It's like push here, and he's like, "Oh, what's this?" Brrr. If that's not in there,
Yeah.
I'm done. Not interested. I will do it once and once alone.
Yeah,
And I'll
I
just keep
also
going through.
expect some abstract ideas in this house as well, like they did in like the original Evil Dead, where you walk through the pages of the book and that kind of thing. I expect you. Well, first of all, you're gonna be walking through a bunch of cotton candy cocoons.
Yes.
Right. My favorite.
Like,
Yeah.
force yourself through that kind of thing. I think that they'll do a lot of like that abstract stuff where you're just like walking through like carnival, like Chris said, like
Mhm.
carnival tents, but like a couple of layers of them, and having clowns pop out at each one. They've got a lot of different opportunities to do some really cool, weird stuff with this one. So,
And if they
Yeah,
want to
they'll
make some
have-
extra money, throw some little vendors in the line selling the cotton candy blood bags or whatever you want to call them with shot
Oh,
out
Lord.
of them.
Well, we know they've
They
already
all
got
got it.
cotton candy chocolate bars, don't we, Darren?
Yeah, they're gross.
Did you actually try it?
Yes, I did.
And how was it?
Oh, they actually-
Horrible.
Gross. They're pretty gross. Yeah.
I need to try one.
So
Yeah.
I have plans for what
Well,
I'm
they'll try
wearing.
anything.
Oh, I will. Like everyone on the
Yeah, how does-
Producers Club page, like, s'mores fries, and I'm like, hell yeah, bring them on. It's all right, we will take a quick break and we'll be back with the last three houses.
Mouse and Muggle Travel Company, our services are completely free to you. We don't just do Universal, we can do Disney, we can actually do anything. I don't know if anybody knows that. We can do anything. We can book absolutely anything, and it's super easy. We have a website, just go to mouseandmuggle.com, and we have a link there for a free quote request. You just fill it out. That email comes straight to me, and either Robin or I will handle it, or if we're a little bombarded, then we'll send you off to one of our expert agents. But we'll take good care of you. So reach out to us at any time.
Welcome back, everyone, and we will continue our discussion of the Halloween Horror Nights houses with the next house that was announced, and that was a bit of a shock, actually, and it was Jordan Peele's Us.
Yes. Featuring the unnerving labyrinth of underground tunnels that stretch from coast to coast below America to the disorienting and the ominous uprising of the tethered doppelgangers of every living man, woman and child in the country, the Us maze will place guests at the heart of this living nightmare, where they quickly realise they are their own worst enemy. The journey begins circa 1986 as guests follow in the footsteps of the young girl as they first meet as Adelaide Wilson, as she innocently ventures through a mirror fun house at the Santa Cruz boardwalk and has a fateful and traumatic encounter with her tethered doppelganger, an event that will forever alter both of their lives. The harrowing experience will then transition to present day, thrusting guests into the chaos of the tethered uprising as they emerge from their tunnels to murder their privileged doubles in a nationwide coordinated act of rebellion. Well,
I'm going to throw this one
that
at
doesn't sell it.
Darren.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay, so I'm gonna be positive on this one. The three things I'm looking forward to on this is that the reason that I love the Purge house so much is that the scare actors are regular people.
Yes.
Yes.
And that makes a big difference to me. That's the only thing that can actually scare me. The monsters don't scare me in houses. I know they're not real, but real people are terrifying, and they do real messed up real life stuff. So, the idea of the Purge, the scare actors actually can freak me out. They can intimidate me, and I feel like this is going to do the same thing. The tethered are going to look like regular people, but psychotic, and that's also why I love the scare zones that have those scare actors in there too, because you don't know who's going to be who's a scare actor in there.
Yeah.
There's also, I think, a great opportunity for plants in the lines. In this one, which they did in Purge. Actually, they had a plant go through in the line every once in a while, and then they would pull them out and then kill them. Kill a person out of the line. So it was a really unexpected, really cool element.
It happened right in front of me. The first walkthrough we did that house, and I was like, "Holy crap, that was amazing!"
Yep.
So you better have those actors hanging out all day, though, to make sure they know exactly who that person is.
Yeah.
You don't want to mess up on that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think this offers them the opportunity to do that. Have like, I wonder if they casted twins for this house.
Yeah, I thought about that.
Ooh, nice.
Interesting.
So the first thing is the people. Like I said, actually being real people. That's the scariest thing to me. So I have a chance to be scared. The second thing is the settings. They have some really cool settings. The boardwalk, kind of
right. Santa Cruz is cool.
Yeah, the mirror maze.
Yes.
Cool.
The underground, I'm not too into. I mean, it's like you go down to the utilidors. It's basically that, and it's that, and they said they're gonna have a lot of rabbits in there. That's one thing that they said they are gonna include those. So the underground, I'm not too interested in. But the last thing, and I hope they use a lot of it, is the score and the soundtrack for it. And they have confirmed that they are going to use the "I've Got Five on It" reprise.
Yes,
as well. So yeah, I'm really excited about those. I think those three elements together will actually make this house a lot better than what I anticipate for it originally. So even the worst house this year is still great.
Yeah, I agree.
I have no idea if this will be. Maybe I'll be totally wrong about it.
Well, I hope it is. And you got every man, woman, and child in America in here. At least that's what it reads.
Yeah. Busy
that's
one.
A lot of damn people.
Yeah.
Easiest casting, right?
Yeah, that's just every freaking person in the United States will be there. So if it works, it'll be great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the thing, isn't it? I don't think people genuinely don't know how it will translate as a Horror Nights house, because I enjoyed the film. I actually really enjoyed it more than I expected to.
Yeah.
And it was incredibly creepy. But translating it into a house is such a weird one. I think that's why a lot of people have got it down the bottom of their hype list, because they just don't know what to expect from it.
Mm.
Well, I mean,
and how do we murder our doubles? And the entire nation is going to do that.
Yeah, that's the weird thing.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, what does that mean? It's the end of mankind.
I thought, Darren, you honestly hyped this house up a little bit more for me. Just that twins thing sounds kind of interesting. I can see like a nice little scare where a twin is looking at themselves in the mirror, and you think it's a mirror, and it's not a mirror, it's a twin. That would be kind of cool.
That would be awesome.
And the way the description is,
it's dark and you're walking through fast, so they can be similar looking.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, are we going to come face to face with ourselves at some point? Is there going to be some sort of mirrored effect where you're in different clothes? Because they can add things in. So is it just going to be some sort of effect?
Well, funhouse mirrors make you look weird.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm thinking. That's easy. Something like that. I mean, we're supposed to encounter ourselves.
Yeah.
So I don't think my sister's coming, but it has to be some kind of mirror deal that's not going to cost $1 trillion. As we all walk by, we look in or we see ourselves in some distorted form. So that can be done easily. I look forward to it because it's different, and I pray to God it was really good.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the fact we've got a pretty new film here that they're using too. I'm like, okay, I'm kind of excited about that. So I really want to see what they do. And if we hate it, we'll talk about it later. But I'm praying to God it's good.
Yeah.
And I'm with Lee. Lee, I love the movie as well. I'm a personal a fan of Jordan Peele. I love his horror kind of stuff he does.
Right.
What I like about the description on this is it kind of picks up where the movie left off. So like the movie left off, not to spoil it, but the Tethered are starting to come out and do their thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where they're leaving this description in, the uprising is happening. So it's almost like they're going to probably introduce a little bit of the movie there and then pick up at the end where they're kind of breaking out and doing their thing.
That would be interesting.
It's an interesting take. Like they're continuing the movie of something that we haven't seen before.
Nope.
Yeah, they're doing like what we've talked about with a lot of the rides at Universal. Like we've said before, if you look at Disney rides are very much the sort of, this is the Little Mermaid and we'll give you all the major scenes. Whereas Universal don't. They take, Harry Potter and Escape from Gringotts, for example, is a story that but it's something outside of the story, that's still technically taking place in that story.
Yeah.
So they don't do that sort of potted ride through.
They're not literal.
No, and what you've said there, Chris, again, gets me excited more for it because it is a continuation. It's an extension of the film rather than having you walk through the film as such.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'll be interested to see where. I'll be interested to see where everyone's got this on their lists. Actually,
I've gone from being unsure but open-minded to intrigued now, and I think it might be moving on my list. My list has been shifting the entire time we've been recording these.
But that's the thing, Darren.
She's on revision 10.
Darren and I have talked about it. It's a house that it's a movie that doesn't really lend itself, and I think if they can pull it off, it has the potential to be great.
Yeah.
If they don't, it has potential to be terrible.
Yeah.
I don't think they can let it be terrible, though. Again, I think they have to spend the money to do a decent haunted house because they have to. It would just be, we don't want it to be lame. So they have a lot of creative license to do whatever they want to in there. But the subject, like you said, it's not a movie I would have necessarily said, let's make a haunted house of. Yeah.
But Darren, am I right in assuming this was one that was kind of thrust in there at the last minute, wasn't it? Was it originally supposed to be something else?
Yeah, they had it. They had a Tooth Fairy house slated in there, an original house that was going to go.
Time.
Yeah, that was going to go with like a twisted fairy tale kind of series that they were going to start up here. So that was originally what was going to go in, but there were rumors of us since the beginning. So really? I think it's something that they had in mind, but something happened with that allowed them to go through with it, and then they ended up switching over there.
Well, I'm excited that they're using that Us version of I Got Five on it. Yeah. That song is creepy as hell.
Love it.
Cool. Right. Moving on, we will continue on to the penultimate house that was announced, and that was Graveyard Games. Now, can everyone please keep a straight face while I read this?
I can promise
we did
nothing.
Last time. Do cemeteries give you the willies? Then this one will give you nightmares. Graveyard Games is the next haunted house to join the lineup at this year's Halloween Horror Nights. In the Ascension Parish Cemetery, it's normal to find teens playing amongst the tombstones. You'll find yourself witnessing the repercussions of the disrespectful antics of two teens who have awakened the spirits of the dead. As you roam through the cemetery, you'll wind through dark mausoleums and decaying piles of coffins. Ghosts of every shape and form will rise from the tombstones to exact their revenge as you try to escape the maze of crumbling tombstones and mausoleums. They like that. They like using those words. Skeletal beings, ghostly apparitions, and vengeful spirits will try to drag you to the grave, and in the end, you'll find out what happened to those who set out to deface the cemetery. Julie, Graveyard at Halloween Horror Nights. I'm sure this is a staple of horror and Halloween and stuff. What do you...
It's sort of, it's kind of like everybody every town in America has a haunted graveyard tour. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Where they literally go there. I don't know what to say about it either. I was looking it up and I went, okay, New Orleans, is that what Ascension Parish is? It's normal. I don't understand this whole thing about that. Truly, we go back to the Facebook chat. I'm trying to understand that one. See, I can't help myself because Yeah, we all do Masoners. You go on Facebook Messenger and learn the history and spooky. No one's going to do that, in my theory. So, what is the story here? Is my question. What are they trying to do here with this whole Facebook app thing and apparitions? How the hell? I'm confused by it. It didn't change my life. I'm kind of intrigued by it more than anything.
Yeah, it's a weird one that they're not giving you the story of it. You've got to go and do that research to find the story of that house before you go into it.
Which I think is someone's idea, right? But I'm trying to understand. So we've all been to cemeteries.
Yep, many of them.
It's not like this is new.
No.
Yeah, so, and you all got stories of the kids that go in the cemetery, mess with the graves.
Yeah,
and here come the ghosts to exact their revenge on them. That doesn't happen in real life, though it should.
Well, they have a few stories, but
it's like to me those stories when I grew up, like we all did, where we had the stories of what happened at the cemetery, what happened at the Gore Orphanage. That's an Ohio story. The legends. But I'm trying to understand that. I mean, and the two boys. Is this going to be Bill and Ted's Graveyard Adventure, and we didn't know it? I mean, that's what came to mind.
I hope so.
I'm thinking there's going to be a reference. I think there's going to be a little bit of a nod or a reference to that. Yeah, very well, maybe. But they did. They also reference another house in here, kind of at the very end there. You're still coming to a dead end.
Mm-hmm.
Dead End was another house that they did that kind of plays on the same thing, which is your neighborhood legend kind of thing. You got that house at the end of the street, and where I grew up in Illinois, there was one house in Mossville, this 2-block town that I lived in, where this one house that nobody ever lived in when I was a kid, and it was like, all the kids made up stories about it, legends. This is haunted. People go in there and this is the 80s, so people go in there and do satanic worshiping in there. There's all these people that are secretly in the town doing, like worshiping Satan in there, those kind of things.
Yeah, we had one of those houses 15 doors up.
And teenagers in the town, that are very bored in Illinois with nothing to do, putting candles in there and just, enhancing those effects.
Of course.
Do whatever they want.
Kind of places. But I'm saying, like, it's that same kind of story, it's those, like, neighborhood legends and tales. And this kind of gives me that same kind of feeling. Like the kids went to the neighborhood graveyard and they messed up, and now they're paying for it, and we're paying for it too because we're walking through that same graveyard.
That's what it has to be. I mean, God, we all have. I mean, we've all lived in places with, like I said, my thought is every single town I've ever lived in had graveyard tours, or every haunted attraction throughout your towns have this. So, and we're learning the history through whatever. So, like I said, I'm not really. I just have to take it a day at a time. What does everybody think? I mean, do you want to even go through this house?
Oh, I'll go through everyone multiple times. Yeah. It's another one, kind of like what we said about Nightingale's Blood Pit. It doesn't give you an awful lot of information to go off.
No, it doesn't, does it?
From the initial information, my first thoughts were lazy and generic. But are they trying to make it more interactive with having this app? And the more you put in, the more you get out.
Maybe.
Well, what if you walk up into this house, and as soon as you get to the front, the mystery machine is sitting right up there, and you're about to go on a little mystery with Scooby-Doo and the gang?
Oh, wow.
I'd be up for that.
As long as I don't lose my glasses.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm actually really, really hyped for this house. I'm really into it. I love cemeteries. I'm one of those people that go to the tour in your city every time.
I'm the same.
I've been spending a lot of time in St. Augustine, and they've got some of the most historical cemeteries in the United States. So, I love doing that. I love reading headstones. I think this is going to be a fun house to do that in, because they're going to throw homages to a lot of people in there. I pretty much guarantee it.
Yeah.
A lot of people are going to have headstones in there, and I've been following Horror Nights for a long time, so I like seeing like old set designers. Kim Grommel always has like a headstone or a nod somewhere, here or there. So I'm sure Julie will have one too. We'll see.
Oh, that would be cool.
Headstone in there.
No, the new
take a
people
picture
take
of you
over.
next to it.
No, they all take over there. Anybody who it's like if you have a window and then the new production group comes, your window goes away. That happened to me. I was like, what happened to my window?
Well, Julie, we're doing the Behind the Screams tour, and if we end up going through that house as part of it, I'm going to scratch your name on one of them.
Yes.
Oh, you're not. I mean, there's great stories that are, where I lived in Texas, especially, there was a I used to do docents for their house tours, and I learned of the houses that were haunted in the stories. And I mean, we all have these amazing stories. New Orleans cemeteries are amazing too.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah.
you look at Savannah, Georgia. So I think if it's got the vibe going on, it could be pretty cool. Actually, I have this as something I'm really looking forward to because it's unique.
Yes.
And so I want to see him carry that off. I want to see how this plays off. And because I like the fact that this is something I wasn't expecting this when I read, the whole Facebook interchange thing. I thought, well, that could be cool. So I give him points for this. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's just something they do those little things to try to fill time in line.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
It's queue line entertainment.
Elements. Yeah. So,
I think it's smart.
The one thing,
it's a nice little add-on.
the one thing that I'm struggling to figure out reading that is where the scare actors are going to come into it, because it mentions ghosts, but are you going to have put what? I don't understand how you dress a scare actor up as a ghost.
You have to
like a sheet
stick them into it's just the makeup type of thing. You come out of a mausoleum. I mean, they're going to be looking that, that white skin, dark black around your face is what I'm thinking. That's what I would do as far as a ghost.
But then does that not scream more zombie than ghost?
Well, there's a difference between a zombie and a ghost, I think, though. I think a zombie are two different things.
Oh,
yeah,
definitely,
you're gonna have like a soft. I think you're gonna see like a soft blue lighting. You might see some like zombie element in here too, but I'm thinking this is more ghost spectral kind of thing. So
that's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah. And it's headstones. I mean, mausoleums and headstones and things like that are great ways to hide mirrors and
anything you want.
There's ghosts, so you can do great things with it, and you won't expect it. I imagine this is going to be one of the houses that you do go through. For the daytime tour. Yeah, for sure. And then you're going to see those effects and go, oh my gosh, I had no idea that was there.
I could just see the haunted mansion when you go through the outside of it, and you've got those weird woo that come up behind it. That's all I can picture with it at the moment.
I mean, this is Scare Actors Anonymous. You're going through a dark mausoleum, decaying piles of coffins. I mean, you can put 90 million people in there.
Yeah.
But I want to see what they do. I truly do want to see what they do. I mean, I really put a body and have them come out of the grave. Why not? We did it. We had people in there. I don't know how we got away with it, but let's see what they do. Let's just see what they do. And I love the fact that you got something to do in the queue line. Why not?
Yeah.
It's low on my list, and that's just because again, like we talked about with Nightingales, I just can't see how they're going to do it.
Visualize it.
There's nothing jumps out at me to make me think that this is that this deserves to be up higher on my list. Not that I'm down. I think we've already alluded to it tonight between the five of us anyway. I don't think there's any house that looks like it's going to be like, usually there's a house every year that everyone goes, that one's going to be crap. And I think between us, I don't think there's a house on the list that is that house this year. There's ones that we're not particularly bothered about as much as others, but I don't think there's that one house that we'll all go. I think our last house will all be different. Like that number 10 house on our height list, I think every single person will have a different house at that point.
We'll see.
It's pretty cool.
Yep, we will find out.
Cool. Right. Well, let's move on to that then. Well, not quite to that, because we've got one final house left to talk about, and I've given this one to Darren specifically. And that is Rob Zombie's House of 1,000 Corpses.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. The terrifying House of 1,000 Corpses maze brings to life the movie's offbeat roadside tourist attraction, Captain Spaulding's Museum of Monsters and Madmen, and introduces guests to some of the country's most infamous serial killers, including Dr. Satan, a demented surgeon who has gone mad. Without a moment to catch their breath, guests will venture into the chaotic home of the Firefly family, a sadistic clan of psychotic killers where the psychosis deepens and the depraved thrive. It's a chilling journey into the netherworld of terror that weaves its way through a cavernous network of dark tunnels within the bowels of the house. Populated by the degenerate victims of Dr. Satan's debauched operations, legions of tortured criminals shuffle about as Dr. Satan continues his twisted medical practice, eagerly awaiting a new installment of victims. Keep a lookout for the latest addition to Captain Spaulding's Museum of Monsters and Madmen, Fish Boy, as played by Dwight Schrute. And if you're lucky, actually, it really was on the movie. And if you're lucky, you'll escape the house as fast as a rabbit, minus the fluffy bunny costume and tragic ending.
Go on, Darren. I'll leave you to
Go
it.
on, Darren.
Bring it on. All right. I am so hyped for this. Let me tell you a little bit about the history. So this house actually started as a haunted house first, then became a movie. When Rob Zombie first started thinking about this house, he kind of wanted to give some of his ideas a trial run and talk to Universal Hollywood.
Yeah, they did it.
Yeah, and said, "Hey, can we do this?" And what did we figure out, Lee? What on the last time we talked about it was like 5 years? No, 3 years maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
I think it was 3 years before the movie actually came out. Was the first House of a Thousand Corpses house in Hollywood. So this house was really born out of the event, and I think once people understand that and appreciate that a little bit more, then people that may not be into Rob Zombie so much may be a little bit more excited for this house just for that element alone. And that this is the first that I know of a movie that was bred from Horror Nights.
I've never heard of it before either.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. On top of that, I love Rob Zombie's imagery. I'm a big fan. I went to the original Hellbilly Deluxe tour. So I mean, this is like, this is a dream come true to see this again. It's like going back and seeing that happen again. His stage presence and effects are always crazy, like top of the line. He does a lot of like projections on huge screens on the stage while fire's going up, and then he's got these 10-foot, 20-foot tall robots that are coming out and doing things. Sparks are flying everywhere. It's just a crazy, crazy spectacle, and I expect that exact same thing from this house as well. I'm interested to see, because Universal's usually kind of dicey when it comes to things that have the word Satan or God or any kind of like implications. For good reason too. I mean, like there's a lot of people you could possibly and potentially offend that way. So like if for example, like The Purge, they had, instead of God on one of the masks, they have dog on it. That's like the famous thing we always talk about. So I'm interested. I'm excited that they like actually went full force with the Dr. Satan thing. And you're going to start out in the roadside museum, as far as I can tell, because they have already started on the facade of this house, and that is the facade, is the museum.
Awesome.
So I imagine you're going to walk in and walk right into that, which is cool, because they've got all these setups of actual serial killers, and that's another step that's pretty far for Universal that we've never seen them do. I think this whole Rob Zombie area, this and the Hellbilly Deluxe area, is kind of experimental for them to see, hey, can we still push the envelope like we used to? And I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, they did it in 2000 in Hollywood. I actually, I found it on YouTube. I couldn't help myself. So.
Yeah, they've done it a few years.
They've done it a few years. So, so they have a wealth of. This Universal has a lot of material they can look at to see what they want to do too. So like you said, it could be awesome and I think they will be able to carry it off, because it to me, that house looked really one of the good ones in Hollywood is what I saw when I looked at it. I liked it. And I don't always like what Hollywood does, because Hollywood sometimes gets cheesy. Yeah. Did I say that? But it does. Yeah. So I think there's a great expectation for this. Oh, they do. They have a different vibe, and where this Universal tends to just have it be more real feeling. I think it's because this is a theme park. That place is a little bit everything, movie studio and. Yeah. But I think people are anticipating this, especially those who, like, the history of it or love the film. I think they're really looking forward to it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
What do you think, Lee?
Do you know what? I'd never ever seen anything Rob Zombie. Never listened to his music, nothing, until this year got announced. Yep. And I am so immersed in Rob Zombie at the moment. Like, I've listened to Hellbilly Deluxe so many times over the past 3 weeks. Tracy's sick of hearing it at this point. She's been pestering me for years to sit down and watch House of a Thousand Corpses. Yep. And it's bizarre, is the best thing I can say about it.
It's disjointed as a movie, but you just got to picture it as a house, and it's just made for it. It's 100% suited for it.
It came from a house, so...
Yeah.
I can't decide whether I like the film.
I just got to go with it.
It's bizarre. It's like 20 years ago, like 16-year-old me would have been all over it.
So you said 20 years ago, 16-year-old
No, because I was going back... Shut up. 16, well, 20 years ago, whatever. 10-year-old me would have been all over it.
I'm sorry, but you were 30.
Shut up.
Maths is terrible. Oh, say it back to you.
You know, it's the sick, depraved crap that I would have been all over as a kid.
Yes.
But as a house, it's perfect.
Yeah.
It is perfect.
Yes, it is. That's the reality. It's perfect for a house.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. As much as it might not be my favorite type, I think it's perfect for a house. Really, Atlantis. Please, Jesus. You know, I mean, it's absolutely perfect.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember watching this movie when it first came out. What, like 16 years ago, 17 years ago, something like that.
It was like 2005, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something like that.
And I have to honestly sit down and rewatch this just to kind of remember. All I remember is it was a really cool, weird movie for me.
Uh-huh.
And, for some reason, I have the same mentality of it being similar to like The Hills Have Eyes.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Like that kind of sadistic kind of movie. Obviously, Rob Zombie, and I loved it back then. Like it was super cool. I have to rewatch it. Have to sit down and do that. I agree with you, Lee. As a house, it's gonna be awesome. I mean, it's Rob Zombie. If it started off as a house, I think it'll translate well to a house.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah, well, that's what Rob Zombie is unabashedly like. Everything that he does is an homage to that grindhouse era of horror, especially and primarily. And he thrives on that B and even C level horror. And those things he Yeah. I mean, he incorporates it into the movies, the look of everything, the music videos from the era. You know, if you incorporate all those things together, he's got his own definite style.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
yeah.
something that you can't mistake.
No.
So
this will be a good house.
It really will.
Yeah.
It's like
I'm looking forward to
I'm
it.
not gonna give where I've got it. There are things above it, but I genuinely believe it has potential to move up.
Uh-huh.
can't believe we have an animatronic Ed Gein in the house.
Oh.
Wow.
I want to see that Dr. Satan weird looking, whatever the hell it is, at the end, like that weird sort of. It's like a cyborg, and it's not really a cyborg, but he's got like those like
octopus arm thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be our spine ripper this year.
Yeah.
Oh, and I love that. I love that in Body Collectors. Yeah, this has the potential to out. It for me, this is. I don't want to say underdog because I don't think it is, but I think it's one of those that the general public won't potentially know what it is, and I think it could be that house that really takes a lot of people by surprise.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it will. And at least what I saw in the original one, I thought it was so interesting too. And I thought, well, this is great. So we'll see. We'll just have to wait and see.
They will. They need to get those characters in. You need the characters. You need Spalding. You need Dr. Satan. You need all them. That's you definitely need those in.
I just had
I can already confirm they do. Yeah.
Awesome.
Darren was right. Dwight Schrute was Fish Boy. So
There
I
you
don't know
go.
who Wilson is right now, but get him out there.
Yeah, and everybody's favorite current host, Chris Hardwick from Singled Out and a lot of other things. Talking Dead. Yes, he's
he's the two
guys.
See, I gotta go back and watch this movie. This is crazy.
Yep.
Because the other guy is he in The Office or something like that?
Yeah, Dwight Schrute. Well, yeah, the guy
is that him? Yes.
Rainn Wilson.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got a surprising cast. It does.
And a weird ending. It was a weird.
It's great.
Oh,
It's a really weird ending as well.
Don't
Like I
ruin
really
it.
want to watch The Devil's Rejects now after watching that. Like I'm desperate to watch The Devil's Rejects.
Yeah, and of course this isn't for nothing because there's a new movie. It's becoming a trilogy, and the new movie 3 from Hell is coming out very soon. I think it's in October.
It's a continuation.
A little bit of a promo for that, having Rob Zombie involved in the event. Just saying.
Okay.
Mhm.
That's okay. I'll take it.
Right.
So I will be living here.
It is the moment of truth. Does everyone have their hype lists?
Oh, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're right, mine up real
Yeah,
quick.
it's changed a bit, but yeah.
Really? Mine has
mine's
stayed the same.
Really, mine's been jumping about all over the place.
Slight modification over here.
No, mine stayed the same. Right, we'll go.
The top few have stayed.
So we will begin with the number 10. Tracy, what is your number 10?
Oh, hang on a minute. It might just have changed.
Does that mean the lowest house on
Yes,
number
the
10?
one you're least looking forward to.
Yeah, mine's just changed.
Oh,
Fast and Furious.
Oh,
Oh,
Fast and Furious.
to be honest, my 10 and my 9 are kind of
Just give me one.
Yeti Terror of the Yukon.
What?
really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I said these are going to be very different. Darren.
Us.
Mm.
No one's surprised.
Julie.
Monsters. Universal Monsters.
Wow. That's your number 10?
Yes, it is.
Interesting. Chris.
Graveyard Games.
I'm just writing these down so we've got them all. Mine is also Monsters, Julie, so we are on the same page.
We're on the same page, my darling.
Whoa.
Yes.
Mind blown.
Tracy, wouldn't it be, this is going to be bizarre where me and Julie will be beat for beat and we won't have any the same. Tracy, number 9.
My 10, 9. Graveyard Games. Those two are both interchangeable for me.
I see you, Tracy.
Darren?
Yeti Terror of the Yukon.
Wow.
Ooh.
Julie?
Graveyard Games.
I think everyone's going to have that quite low. Chris?
Nightingale's Blood Pit.
Mine is also Nightingales.
All right.
Me and Chris there. Tracy, you're number 8.
Nightingales.
Darren, you're number 8.
Nightingales as well.
This is funny.
Yeah.
Julie?
Nightingale. Oh, we're priceless.
Chris?
Can I change mine to Nightingales just to be cool? Or
No, but that would be funny,
Yeah, you
wouldn't
can't be in our gang now.
Us.
it? Right,
hear ya.
so what are we on? Mine is Graveyard Games.
Okay.
Nice average going on so far.
Mm-hmm.
Tracy, you're number 7.
I don't like this going first thing, you know. Depths of Fear.
What? Darren?
I'm sorry, Tracy. Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Darren!
No Karamak for Darren.
Darren! I am
Darren.
surprised. Julie, you're number 7.
Yeti.
Chris, you're number 7.
Yeti. I see you, Julie.
My number 7 is Us.
Ooh, wow.
Tracy, number 6.
Us.
Darren, you're number 6.
Stranger Things.
Whoa. Interesting. Julie, you're number 6.
Stranger Things.
There's a lot of oohs and ahs going on, isn't it? It's kind of pathetic, really. Chris, you're number 6.
Universal Monsters.
Now we're going to top 5 then. Tracy, number 5.
We're not getting your number 6.
Oh, yeah, mine's Depths of Fear.
Yours is what? Depths of Fear?
Depths of Fear is my number 6. Tracy, number 5.
Stranger
I'm
Things.
terrible at doing this.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Stranger Things.
Because I'm trying to write them down at the same time. Number 5?
Yep.
Wow.
A
Darren.
little short so far.
Depths of Fear.
Julie.
1,000 Corpses.
You put 100 corpses. There's a bit less more than that.
12 million corpses.
That's the sequel. Chris.
Same thing. House of 1,000 Corpses.
Ooh, ah.
See, if anyone was going to move after us doing these 2 episodes, that was the one that was going to move, but I still think it's in the right place. What are we on? Number 5?
Yeah.
Mine is Killer Clowns.
We will be having words later.
Sorry, Tracy.
Mm.
Tracy, on number 4.
House of 1,000 Corpses.
Darren.
Universal Monsters.
Julie.
Killer Clowns.
Are you going to tell Julie off? I know it's
No.
not as low as mine, but...
No, that's respectable.
Chris.
Depths of Fear.
And mine is... What are we on? 4.
Oh,
Yeti, Terror of the Yukon.
that's high.
I told you it was my most anticipated
It's his
original
favorite.
house.
I know it is. I know it is. Mhm.
So the top 3. Tracy, you're number 3.
Universal Monsters.
Darren.
The one Lee said no one would have up high. Graveyard Games.
Wow.
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 Love
Julie.
the
Us.
Wow.
It's nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Chris.
Killer Clowns.
And my number 3 is House of a Thousand Corpses.
Oh.
Tracy, you're number 2.
Come on, you know what
See,
my order is now.
I would assume that your number 2 is Killer Clowns. Because if you haven't got Ghostbusters as number 1, there's some papers getting written up tomorrow.
I've already written them up, dear. Ghostbusters.
What? Are you kidding me?
Nope.
Oh my God.
Come on.
I'm getting looks now.
Darren.
Well, Bustin' makes me feel good, but not great. Number 2.
What?
Thank you, Darren.
Oh, Chris, someone needs to... Julie, what's your number 2?
Depths of Fear.
Wow. Chris.
Lee, we're seeing eye to eye on this one. Stranger Things.
Good lad. I knew I liked Chris. Wow. Tracy, your number 1.
Do you want your number 2?
Oh, my number 2, Stranger Things.
Wow.
Wow. No, I think if...
No, I mean, wow, that you keep forgetting yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't normally.
No, I don't. I'm more interested in it because I know what my list is. I'm more interested in everyone else's. Tracy, your number 1 then's Killer Clowns.
Absolutely.
Darren.
It's House of a Thousand Corpses.
That's no surprise. Really, I should have realised that. Julie.
Ghostbusters.
Here we go. Now we're into the people that know what they're talking about.
Shut your face.
And Chris, I assume?
Da-na-na-na-na. Da-na-na. Who are you going to call?
Nightingales.
He-Man.
He-Man, He-Man, He-Man.
Yes.
What do you mean drinking?
That's Ghostbusters 2. Come on, we only watched it a week ago.
Yes.
Interesting.
Next year.
What's yours? Just going to ask. I know what it is, but
It was always going to be
Of course
Ghostbusters.
it was. They announced that. There was no other house for you.
Well, I said when we went through that original speculation list that if Ghostbusters ended up being true, there was things happening in my pants that we shouldn't talk about.
Well,
I can
Whoa,
neither
what?
confirm nor deny that.
So, as I predicted, everyone's last house, their number 10 house, is different.
Mm-hmm.
So
No
I think
kidding.
that speaks to how varied this year
Yeah.
is, and that there isn't one house that everyone's like, that's the one that's going to be garbage this year.
Well, honestly, the top 3 is also very
Yeah.
different, I think.
Yeah. Apart from me, you, and Julie, for the most
Yes,
part.
of course.
Top 2.
yeah, Ghostbusters is up there for everybody. which-
Absolutely.
It was always going to be.
Yeah.
Cool. Right. That's going to wrap up the episode. I hope you enjoyed this talk about Horror Nights. If you haven't already been and you are going, have an awesome time because it really does look like a fantastic year.
It certainly does.
Well-rounded.
If you are coming out to the Weekender, the 5 of us, and that seems weird saying that, we'll see you there and we will get to experience as much of this as we can as a group, and it's going to be amazing.
Fabulous.
Can't wait.
So that's it. Darren, as we said, has already been, but he hasn't already been, but he will have done when this comes out. Darren, how many times are you planning on going this year?
I think 3 times.
So your open weekend.
Opening weekend, sometime around the middle, maybe. Well, that might be actually the trip that we go on, and then I kind of want to try for like the last day or as late as I can go with my ticket, with my free pass, because I've always heard the last day is a lot of fun.
That'll actually give you a real good overview of the event
will.
because they say, it changes quite a lot over the course of it. So you potentially get to see the beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah, and it's like the last run of a show where they let them go a little crazy. So
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Awesome. So thanks for talking Horror Nights with us, guys. This will not be the last time we talk about Horror Nights this year.
No, I
I'm
wouldn't
sure.
expect it.
Because the 5 of us will be getting back together to go over these after visiting the event,
Yes, we
which is
will.
going to be very interesting.
Not long now.
Yeah.
lists.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where our actual finished lists end up
That's
compared
gonna
to
be
our hype list.
fun.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
really is.
The best part of it is going to go over our notes and then,
Yeah.
To
That'll be
see
a
how
lot.
much things
shame those
change.
who were wrong. Shame
Don't
them.
look at these hype lists until then because I don't want them to influence you later. So
Okay,
Yep.
No.
get out of your mind now, and we'll come up with new lists on that show.
awesome. So we will wrap up the show with another Universal Is, and this one comes from Shelley Carter. And of course, if you want to be involved, just send us what you think Universal is in 3 words or less. And unlike Chris's wife, try and not have swear words in there, please. She's not his wife. Oh, sorry, Chris.
Oh,
Alexa,
sorry, Chris.
Sorry. Chris's other half, shall we say? She's got one in there. She's got one in there with a swear word in it, and I'm going to share it at some point, but I don't care. And you can send them to us at podcast@uuopodcast.com, and we will include them on the show. And Shelley says Universal is awesome. See you next week.
Cut, print. That's a wrap for another episode of the Unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. Never miss a show by subscribing on Apple Podcasts and leave us a rating and review while you're there. Not an Apple user? You can listen on Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, or your podcatcher of choice. Email us any questions or comments to podcast@uuopodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, YouTube, Instagram, and Pinterest. Just search UUO Podcast. Keep up with the latest news, rumors, and updates on our blog at uuopodcast.com. Thanks for listening. See you next week.